Oh my God, they're going bonkers. I'm like, I've used a pendulum. I have, see, I'm like, what's
Look at
happening?
it spinning. Oh my
I
goodness.
know. I'm like, how am I holding them correctly? I startled myself earlier because I was like, well, these little buggers are possessed. And I say that jokingly because I do not
Yeah.
think they're possessed. I did clear them. I put my energy on them. I called in my guides. I called in the beings of love and light, all the things. And I was just like, what's happening? Because I'm planning on using them for a Halloween thing that I'm doing. And so I was like, yeah, they are excited. They were spinning in circles earlier.
Yeah.
Have you ever used these?
I had a set of dowsing rods. I was not able to connect with them in a way that I was satisfied. I
I
felt like
got
I
you.
was influencing them too much, by
Oh,
moving my hands because I have a tremor. So I
oh,
just
fair.
didn't, you know.
I have a little heart thing going on, so I was wondering, was my heartbeat doing that? Because I do have a little weird heart rate. Hi for everybody who's joined. I can't see anybody yet. I need to get to chat.
Heather Moritz. Hello, Heather.
Hi, Heather.
Hi,
It,
Mary.
we're just enjoying these little I mean, yeah. What the heck? See? I don't feel like I'm moving my hands. I'm trying to stay very still.
There's
Oh,
a girl on TikTok that does the dowsing rod questions. People send her
oh,
questions and
she's
she
in.
asks. She's
Yes. Well,
great.
I think it's the same one that I've seen. She's got
Solar
kind of
glow or something like yeah, she got long blonde hair. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, and she's got a great. I mean, you just like her. You just want to like her. It's
Yeah.
like she's adorable. I'm gonna go open my chat because I don't have my chat open. Oh, hi, hi, kids. Okay. I do apologize for the late start getting on here. It wasn't letting me.
We had technical difficulties.
Technical did, but I think there's reasons for that. I'm just gonna see
Hi, Connie.
what the
Welcome.
heck.
Arva, hello. Tanya, hello.
Hi,
Hello,
Lisa.
June. Welcome.
Yeah, now they're freaking look it.
Hi, Shannon. Welcome in. Look at it.
I don't even know what to do with that
What is that?
energy.
Your right side?
That's my left.
Is it your left side?
Yeah. Yeah, this is my right.
I know my left and my right.
Right. It's okay. Oh, oh, well, that's rude. Now it's just pointing at my face. Isn't that funny?
Hi, Monica.
Hi,
Welcome.
Monica. Hi, Jude. Hi, Connie. Hi, Arva. Tana, Miss Mary, Heather. Hi, kids. Yeah, these are crazy fun. I am going to just have to spend some time figuring out. Yeah, see? Because if I hold them level, they run into each other. So if I, can you show me a yes?
They're supposed to, from when I was had a pair and I was learning to work with them, you're supposed to hold them and you're supposed to say, show me a yes. That's supposed to be, I think, open, and then show me a no, and they should cross, but they shouldn't run into each other.
Oh, they're
Is
talking. They like that. They like
yeah.
you. Talk. So show me a yes.
I can't remember if yes is open or closed, but
Show me a no.
that one is just janky. It wants to go backwards.
Oh, I I could just have fun with this for
Hi,
hours. And
Christina.
I don't
Welcome.
I don't know what's happening. I'll have to read this. It says, and we will get into questions. I promise. Um, well, we don't want to waste the time we have with Miss Erin, so Mrs. Erin, I guess.
Oh, Mrs. Fine.
Miss
Do you
Miss.
know where MRS comes from? Did you know that? Do you
Oh,
know?
I do not
It's
know.
the possessive of Mr.
Well, I'm never going to
That's where
say
it
that
comes
again.
from. Just FYI. Because women
Interesting.
were property back in the day.
Oh, dude, some
And
still
so
are.
when you married, you became Mr.'s property.
Oh, I don't like that, Miss Erin. It is.
Sorry. I'm full of this useless trivia. I'm so good at
No, I
Trivia
love it.
Pursuit
Oh
because I
shit,
have
that's
all these.
awesome.
I had a friend just came to see me today and we were talking about this. I have all this wildly useless trivia in my head. I know the whole history of the Michelin star system. Don't know why, just know. All the stuff. It's helpful in trivia, nowhere else.
I am apologizing because I have a fly. Like I have been up here doing work off and on all day, and it didn't bother me until I sat down to do this. So
Oh, here. Cindy said no is open. Mary says yes is closed and
Oh,
no is open. Okay, so I must have been backwards. I don't remember.
um,
So yes closed, no open.
this says X shape is a yes, V shape is a no.
There you
That's
go.
what the little thing says.
There you go. They are
Well, what does
correct.
it mean when it's doing this? It's like,
It means you're going to win the lottery.
yes,
So
I'm ready.
Missy asked, is shadow work the beginning of a soul cleaning?
Mm,
No.
I don't think so either.
I think that
Shadow,
depends on what you mean by soul cleaning. Um, Go ahead, Melissa.
I
What do you
kind of
think?
want to scrub the soul right now. I just want to grab it.
Right.
So, the soul doesn't need clean. The soul is whole. The soul is love. The soul is peace. The soul is all of the things beautiful and happy. So the soul never needs to be cleaned. Healing from the human condition, I would say yes. But as
Yes.
far as and shadow work is an aspect of the human condition, not the
Right.
soul's problem. So if we have a lot of trauma when we're little, or let's say we have maybe we're loud, obnoxious, instead of our parents teaching us how to channel and work with that energy of being loud and having a lot of extra about ourselves, we're told that it's bad. And we're told to shut that shit down, stop being too much, stop feeling, stop this. So that's what creates the shadow. And it
Right.
doesn't just have to be parents, it can be friends, family.
Anything in your social construct, anything. Your teachers, your
Absolutely.
parents, your friends, your boyfriends, your dog, everybody. Right?
Yes,
We're fragile, sensitive creatures.
we are delicate flowers. So we start to learn that that part of us isn't acceptable. And so we start to push that away and deny it.
Yeah.
And so that's where the shadow is. And the shadow wants to be seen and heard. So it will create certain energies within us until we look at it.
Yeah.
We won't, I
It,
don't think you can feel whole if you're not incorporating that aspect of yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I think to really answer that question, we kind of have to start at the beginning, right? Like the shadow is a term coined by American psychologist Carl Jung,
Oh, yeah.
and he uses it to describe the aspects of yourself that you feel judged for putting on display. So you hide it in the
Yes.
closet, you put it in the shadow. And over time, we learn that the acceptable pieces of us are the ones in the sunshine. As you start to heal and start to do shadow work, the purpose of shadow work is to reintegrate the pieces of yourself that you've been made to feel ashamed of. So, like Melissa was saying, if you've been taught to think you're too loud, as you work on your shadow, you will start to recognize the power of your voice, right? So, this is slow, steady, one thing at a time. It is not something to be rushed through, and it is an
No.
ongoing process that
Yes.
you will do over and over and over again in your life. Because you are human, you will consistently produce shadows. The only way you wouldn't produce a shadow is if you lived in a vacuum by yourself and didn't have anyone saying anything to you. Because,
Or
like I
have
said,
thoughts.
or have thoughts, because we are fragile, delicate little ego creatures. And so
Yeah.
every little thing that someone says, we take it to heart, So that's where shadow comes from. So shadow work is not a cleaning of your soul. Your soul
No.
doesn't need to be clean. It
No.
is a I forget the name of the Japanese art where you put together the broken pieces with the gold foil. That's what it is. Is
Oh.
it's recreating something that was broken into something beautiful.
It's funny. Only thing I can think of is feng shui, and I don't think that's
No,
it.
that's
So
not
if
it. I don't know
anybody
the name of it. Somebody look it
so,
up. It's a I think it's Japanese, and it's the art of taking broken pieces of porcelain, putting them back together, and you seal them with gold foil or gold paint.
oh, kid, well, it's not Miranda. I can't say
Kitsing,
it.
kitsuzing, yeah, whatever
Kitsuge.
that says.
Yeah. We could be stuck on that all night.
Yes, that.
I'm going to respond to this question for real fast. Um, do you still connect same online with people as in person? I personally do. I suspect you do as well. It's just
Um,
energy that
I
we're, oh,
connect. It's different. So
oh, interesting. I'm glad you said that. It
for
is
me,
me. Okay.
I am someone who The best way I can explain it is through the language of human design, okay? So, I'm what's called a projecting manifester. I channel, but I need to be invited to the
Can leave that
conversation.
up. Okay.
Okay. So
Oh,
I can't just walk past someone and pick up information about them. I start to channel through conversation. When my energy connects to yours is when I get information back. Right. So when I'm
fair.
in person with someone, that is more easily established because I have direct contact with them. If I'm online like this, if I can see them in a Zoom session, it's very similar. If it's something like doing a TikTok reading
Uh-huh.
or a live reading, it is different for me. And the reason I do the readings the way I do on TikTok is because it doesn't last as long for me. It's almost fleeting. I have to work harder to get the connection, and then I
Okay.
have to work harder to sustain the connection because I have distance between us. Um,
Fair.
Sometimes I will get a client who has really strong energy and I can feel it come through, and that's easy. But most people, and it's nothing that anybody's doing wrong. It's
Nope.
just that's how it is. But
Yes.
being in person for me, because of the way my energy works, I make a quicker, more easily sustained connection in person. I wouldn't say it's
Interesting.
I wouldn't say it's any more clear, it's just easier
That's
to
fair.
maintain.
That's fair. That's fair for sure. That's an interesting because I've always been like, no, it's the same across the board. I connect if I've done readings when I can't see anybody. I do blindfolded where,
Right, and
which
see,
is
my
great
energy
fun.
doesn't work like that at all. I can't my
Oh,
and that's a good point to talk about is that we're
yes,
all such individual creatures, right? Everybody, each one of us emits an individual frequency, and that frequency
yes,
changes based on what you surround yourself with, what you focus on, what you consume, right? And because you are an individual frequency, it's like a thumbprint. The way things manifest for you is going to be different than it does for
yes,
anybody else. For
yes.
me, energetically, now the only thing that is weird about me about that is I can look at a picture of someone and I can tell you immediately if they are dead or alive. I can't tell you where they
Oh,
are. I
cool.
can't tell you if they're missing, if they're kidnapped, if they're healthy. I can only tell you if they're dead or alive. It literally does nothing for me. But other than that, my energy, it's just the way it works is it needs to be initiated. I cannot be the one who does it. Someone has to reach out to me. And that's
Right.
just how it works for me. But I know plenty of people. I have a friend who literally won't go to the grocery store anymore because
Oh,
every time she does, she's bombarded with everything around her. She's picking up the
oh,
angry lady looking at the bananas and the cashier who's having an affair, and she literally walks out of there and she's having a mental collapse because she cannot
I have some
tune it
tools
out.
for you. When we're done tonight, if we can remember, I have some tools for you to share with her on how to
Yeah,
do
I
that.
would love to.
Okay. I'm just going to write tools for Erin's friend.
But that's important to know is that everything manifests differently. Channeling is a perfect example. Me talking right now, this is channeling for me. But
We all
someone
do
like
it.
Bashar goes into a trance state. There's also people like who do channeling with ectoplasm. Like this is real stuff, but everybody does it
I
differently.
need more information on it. I channel. I have a great time doing it. I can channel when I'm awake. When I do mediumship readings, spirit can channel through me. You know they're channeling through me when I say stuff and it doesn't go through my filter because I usually
Mhm.
go like it just came out of my mouth. But when I channel other beings, um, I usually step aside a little bit, but I feel like I'm watching the whole thing happen, and sometimes I try to control it. So
Yeah,
my ego
right.
sometimes has a little more difficult time
Well,
with
and
that.
that's another thing is I don't channel other beings. I
Okay.
only ever channel from what I assume to be my higher self or a piece of my higher self. I've never ever ever channeled anything non-human or anything. It's always just been my higher self as far as I know.
I almost feel like I could say that you have, just because of my understanding of channeling and things that I've done videos where there are orbs going in and out of me. And I think some of the people on here have probably seen those. And it is crazy. And to me, that's because that's where I'm channeling. If I'm channeling from the heart, I've had them like shoot into my chest and then shoot out of my and shoot into my head and shoot, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, what is happening? So I would just say there may be a really good chance you're channeling a lot more than
Well, I would be open to
you're
that,
really
but I will say
yes.
it's never been demonstrated to me in a way to give me a name or a
Fair,
description other than anything else, you know?
fair, fair. So, what I would say is next time you go to channel is just call in like I want my main guide. If you have a name for them, call in that and ask for them to channel through you and see if the information you get changes. Fair?
Sure, yeah,
Oh,
absolutely,
cool. Okay.
I'm open to it.
How fun is that? Okay, so the ectoplasm, and then we'll take another question.
Oh,
I'm really
ectoplasm.
what is
So
this?
there are these people who, when they channel, they go into trance and they go into a dark box, right? They go into a dark
Yeah,
room and all the lights get turned out, and then this ectoplasm is produced in the space, and there are photos of it. And this stuff is completely supernatural in substance. It
sure.
comes out of their body, comes out of their nose, out of their ears, their belly buttons. It will burn their skin sometimes,
But not
and
like a fluid, just
it's
this.
like a plasma. It's in the air. It's not like on them. It comes out and up in the air. Girl, you gotta Google it. It is everywhere.
I'm
But
gonna totally. I'm
the
gonna write
most
it down.
recent place I've seen it is there's a documentary on Netflix called Surviving Death. And in one of the episodes, they go to a place that I wanna say is in Norway or Sweden, and there's a woman there that does this, and they film her doing this, and it was mind-blowing. I mean, you in the documentary, you can't see real time what's happening because it's a
Sure,
dark room, but they
gotcha.
show you all this evidence of stuff, and it was absolutely mind-blowing. This is something that's happened throughout history, and there's all kinds of documentation for it.
Oh,
um,
that's fabulous.
there's no way that I know of that it's really been able to be explained. Of course, there are hoaxers out there, especially back in like the 1920s.
Sure.
But as technology has gotten better, it's harder and harder to hoax that, right? So,
Yeah,
it's still around and it still happens. It's very rare, but it's one of those things that it's like a physical manifestation of the spiritual energy.
that's okay. I feel like I've seen that show, so I'm gonna go back and try to watch it again. That's interesting. And you said it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay, note to self. Okay. Okay.
Here's a great picture. Look.
Oh
I know
well,
the
hey,
Sorry about the reflection. Let me see if I can get a better
yeah,
one.
well, you can see stuff coming out of their noses and there. It almost looks like tentacles though, which is kind of creepy.
Yeah, but, like, here's another one, like
I don't know why I'm getting closer. Well,
so,
that's
like, there's pictures of it.
fascinating.
It's
Yeah,
just
it's
hard
a
to get a
real.
picture because it's in the total dark that it happens, right?
Okay.
But this woman on that documentary talks and had pictures and documentation of where it had burned her, like, burned her body. She's in a locked room, she's literally tied to the chair to prevent any tampering of anything.
Sure,
She
sure.
literally can do nothing, and she comes out of it with burns on her body. I mean, you know?
Well, that would offend me. Be like, no, I don't even like it when I get a bug bite because I'm like, I was minding my own business. That's rude.
Right?
Okay, sorry. Okay, so let's go. Well, question. My dog was bitten by another dog. This is the third time this has happened. He's the nicest dog.
Oh, poor guy.
A bite me sign on him. Why it's occurring? Am I supposed to be learning something as it happens? Well, I think anytime something happens to our animals, it is a direct reflection, or there's something going on here that we need to be aware of. Are you letting people snap at you? Are you letting people walk on you? Are you somebody who doesn't maybe speak your truth? Because it sounds like your dog is having a hard time getting along with other dogs, and it's not obviously he's it's not his fault, but he might be some putting off some go f you yourself, and then they're like, I don't think so, sir. So does any of that connect with anything that's going on in your life or in your story? Do you understand any of that? Which is interesting because your name is Stacy's story. Love that. Love that. Um, oh my goodness, we are way behind. That's okay. Okay. So we'll just keep moving, and if she responds, we can top back. Well, now I've scrolled. Can you see how I'm scrolling? Do you see that on your screen too? Or
No,
are we
I'm
scrolling
scrolling myself,
independently?
so am I messing
Okay.
you up? If I scroll,
No,
does it
not at
mess you up?
all.
Okay.
That's funny. So it's independent scrolling. Okay, good to know. Rocky Nelson, I'm going to throw him up here. Can you put people up on the screen too? If you find one that
Uh,
you like, you can throw it
no,
up
I
there.
cannot. I can
Oh,
only see it. I can't do anything to it.
I have all of the power.
All the powers.
Okay. My
She's
grandson
drunk
is
with tea. Watch out.
drunk with tea. Yes, Earl Grey decaf is what I'm drunk with right now. My grandson has been looking in the corner of my bedroom where I have my brother's urn and my wife's dad's urn. My grandson always asks, "What's that? Is it my brother or dad or both?" I don't feel threatened by it, but I'm just wondering. I do feel like dad probably comes in a little more than brother, but I suspect both do. But I get a real strong pull to dad. So just pay attention to that energy. I do hear walks with you, walks with you. Uh, Number 34 is coming up, and then April's coming up for you, Rocky, if you understand any of that. Erin, do you get a pull to that being a specific person?
I don't. I think it's probably a combination of things.
Yeah. Well, the absolute was what, so do share.
I just think it's more than I think that we underestimate what we think the spiritual world looks like. I think we think it's compartmentalized and separate like physical reality, and it's just not.
Yeah.
So while yes, it may be your brother or your father, it could also be the kid down the street who got hit by a car. It could also be the dog next
100%.
door. It could be
100%.
I think your grandson's just sensitive, and that just happens to be where his attention is drawn.
I love that.
Um, the spirit world, as far as my understanding, nothing is separate, nothing is apart. So I saw a question in here: do my pets go to be with my husband when they pass? The short answer to that is yes, they're all together. It's all one thing. We are too separate here down in the physical. We've gotten into separatist mind thought. We
Yes.
think of ourselves as individuals, but and I know it's kind of a mind pretzel to try to think that everything is the same,
An
but it's like
entangled
the
web.
ocean. We are like a teaspoon of the ocean. When you pour that teaspoon back into the ocean, it becomes part of the ocean overall. It does not stay the small piece that was in the teaspoon. And that's how I understand that the spiritual world works.
100. I agree with that completely. The one of the things, because you had mentioned animals being in spirit too. One of the things in a recent reading, not real recent, but a cat said, "I'm not a cat soul. I'm
Right.
a soul," which boggles my mind a lot. But I think is really cool to know that a cat doesn't have to always incarnate as a cat. A dog doesn't have to always incarnate as a dog. A human doesn't always have to incarnate as a human.
Right. Just to add to that, so I have this reoccurring guide that comes to me in the dream state. I call him the man with the white beard. I'm not lucid in my dreams, so I can't control the conversation.
Right.
He never tells me his name, and I get the very distinct impression that it doesn't matter. He kind of told me that that's a human thing. Why do you? He's
Yeah.
like, you can feel my energy. Like he thought I
Yeah.
was stupid. So anyway, he told me that sometimes our guides will incarnate as animals because we don't have resistance to the love that the animals offer us. And that when the guides choose to incarnate as animals, it comes at a time when we really need that. So if you think over the course of your life, most of us who have pets have had one or two that showed up at just the right
Oh
time
man.
and was exactly what we need. I literally have a tattoo on my arm of my dog that showed up when I was the loneliest, saddest I could have been, and he got me through that. And so
Oh,
the man with the white beard, I think in the conversation, I think I asked him, so does that mean that they're human? And he just again like rolled his eyes at me
the
and he goes,
soul.
stop doing that.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way for them to reach you. You didn't have any resistance to that. And when we die, when we kick the bucket, spoiler alert, everybody does. When we kick the bucket, we go back into the ocean, so to speak. So all these people and animals and things we think we miss, they all become part of us. Not just we are reunited with them, they all become part of us again. And it's a fulfillment and a coming together, at least that's how I understand it.
I I think that we're all one, so I will take that. I believe that we are all one. One of the things I've been shown is that because we break off from source as a soul, and the
Oh, sure.
source supports that energy. So like we can be living multiple lives right now.
Oh, absolutely.
I struggle to wrap my brain around that. That one is a mind boggler for me. But what my guides have shown me is like, say, this is the whole soul, and then there's little splinters of us that come off, and that's what feeds this.
Yes.
That's what gives this life.
Yes.
So I do think we go back to that when
Yes.
we
Yes. Yes.
leave the
Yes.
physical. Yeah. So
Yes.
I think it's so
I think I wanna
intriguing.
talk about that for a second. Let's go back to that for a second because
Okay.
you and I wanna talk about that because I have a good image of that, and it looks very similar to what you're explaining, the higher
Love that.
self and the other incarnations, okay?
Yes.
So, the way it was explained to me by my guides is when you think of a past life, you have to be very careful not to implant you, Melissa, into that past life. You,
Correct.
Melissa, did not make
Correct.
any of those decisions. You,
Correct.
Melissa, are not doing those things. It was described to me like twins. Similar but separate. Similar but
Correct.
separate. You make your own choices, you go your own way. The higher self is like the grand central station of a train, right?
Yes.
And it sends out different train lines to different destinations and picks up the load of energy, information, and eventually brings it all back into the train station,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
But
Love
again,
it.
sends it back out, brings it in, sends it out, brings it in. Like this is how it was kind of explained to me. And when it comes to incarnations, I was clearly shown that time is much more like a library than a line, right? So your higher self is like, okay, I want to learn a lesson on humility. So it goes into the Akashic records. Here's my library card. I want to check out a book on humility. So it goes in and the librarian says, here's a good life for you. 1920s America, you get to be a person of color. Have fun, right?
Yeah.
So then you open the book, the higher self opens the book and becomes a character in that story and learns the lesson of that story. You die, you come back to your higher self, the book gets closed and put back on the shelf. But your higher self has infinite numbers of fingers, right? Infinite numbers of hands. So it can pull
That's
this
so.
book and this book and this book and this book and this book and put all the characters together. But you're
Yeah.
just playing a part in a lesson that your higher self is trying to learn.
Literally, and it made me giggle when you're talking about that because I recently did a live with my Patreon, and what Spirit showed me was like, when you make a pudding poke cake, like you put the cake down or you poke
Yeah.
the holes and you dump the pudding in it. That's what they showed me is how
Yes.
it's moving into. I was like, so
Yes.
it's like cake,
Yes.
but it
Yes.
was like
And
made me giggle. I was like, well,
right?
that's freaking
But
awesome.
but when you think about it, that makes sense because if your higher self, if we want to think about things like 5D, if your higher self exists in a space that is outside of time,
Yeah.
then if it's outside of time, it cannot experience change. Change cannot happen without the passage of time. That's why it changes. So,
Yes.
quantumly, you incarnate a piece of filament into this story, and through quantum entanglement, right? Your higher self has the exact same experience as you at exactly the same time as you, and it's learning, learning, learning,
Yes.
experiencing the passage of time through the 3D incarnation while still in the 5D. And we have to get out of the idea that it can only pay attention to one incarnation. It is not a human, it is infinite intelligence. So you have to
Infinite.
stop doing that. You can't say, well, it
Yeah.
doesn't have enough attention span. No, friend, you don't have enough attention span. Your higher self is fine.
Your higher self is fine. That's all. And I like how you talked about past lives too, because it's not us. We don't incarnate
No,
looking like this.
no.
I have been in tribes. I have been murdered. I have
You've been
uh,
everything.
We've
The
done
only way you can
everything.
learn is to be everything. Every single body will have an incarnation where you are the bad guy. And
You
I'm
are the
sorry, but you will be, because the only way to learn the lesson is to have the
the
experience.
experience.
You must,
Mhm.
everybody has been a bad guy to the extreme at some point,
Oh,
because
dude.
you must learn that lesson. And that's uncomfortable for
Oh,
people to
very.
hear, because they like, well,
Very.
I'm a good person, but it's not you. You
It
have to
wasn't you.
disentangle yourself
Yeah.
from the ownership of it. It's like twins, similar but separate, right?
Similar but separate. My talking, I'm like getting a worse speech. I shouldn't say that out loud. I don't want to speak that. My speech has been interesting.
Your mouth is having a hard time keeping up with your energy. That's
I
all it
know,
is,
I guess,
girlfriend.
right? You get so excited and you have so much you want to say, and
Happens
your
all the
mouth is
time.
like, because then I'm gonna
I
forget
call
what
it
I was
mush
going to
mouth.
say.
I
I
get mush mouth
totally
because I'm
have
like, blah, blah,
mush.
blah, blah.
It's like I have so much to say. Okay, so mush mouth. Did I cut you off? Were you talking about something really cool and I cut you off?
No,
Okay, cool.
not that I remember.
Okay. This is a good friendship. Okay. Oh shit. Do my pets go to be with my husband who is in spirit when they pass? They can, and they can be greeted. So when that initial cord of connection to the soul, to the body, leaves, I have been shown loved ones come. I've been shown archangels, ascended masters, guides, being. I mean, a lot of people can come, but it's not like. I think this is kind of goes to what you were saying, Erin. It's not like there's a heavenly gate where everybody is standing. I've never seen that in my of readings. I was going to say thousands and thousands. I think that's fair. I've never seen the pearly gates, but I've never seen hell either. Never seen anybody being
Right.
tortured for eternity, thank
No,
goodness. And so, um,
it would be
did,
illogical. It would
but
be illogical. You cannot have a
yes,
loving universe that would punish you for something that you did out of your own nature.
yes, that you came here to learn and to understand. But I will say, would your husband recognize? Would they recognize each other? 100%. 100%. We're
Right.
not lost by any
Because it's
stretch of the
energy
imagination.
based and energy doesn't lie.
Energy doesn't lie.
Something I want to say that came to mind as you said this. So one of the coolest downloads I have ever received. Okay. I was in meditation. This was just about a week and a half ago. I was deep in meditation. I actually got myself, I'm so excited. I got myself an obsidian, a polished piece of obsidian.
Ooh, that's huge.
Right. And
Yes.
so this is for scrying, right? So you put a candle in front of it and then you focus on the flame. Um,
Oh,
this is what
I've never
Nostradamus
done
used to
that.
do. That's what Nostradamus used to do.
Oh,
So
that's
I'm doing
lovely.
this, and I got such a clear image explaining to me what the silver cord was. Okay. So I wasn't thinking about this. It was this is how I know it's a true channel, because I it was not on my mind, right?
Yeah.
So I was shown that the silver cord is the manifestation of quantum entanglement. So when you go through death and you go through the passageway and the cord is cut, you no longer need it, because
Severed.
you don't need to be entangled with your higher self. You're returning to the higher self.
Correct.
So that cord is always present, keeping you tethered quantumly to your higher self. This is the flow of information, like an umbilical cord. This is what you exchange all that transfer of energy through. And it will keep you tethered to your physical body as long as your physical
Yes.
body is alive. And then
Yes.
when you die, you go through, they showed me, like, he literally showed me like cutting a cord. It cuts because you don't need it. You are no longer separate from the higher
Severed.
self, but returned
Correct.
to the higher self. But clearly in that download, they told me very clearly the silver cord, put it in quotations marks, is the representation of the quantum entanglement you have with your higher self.
I love that. And but that's also what animates the body.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
And that's why we can astral travel and do all those out of body experiences, because we are connected to our higher self. So, for anybody out there who's fearful of meditating because they're afraid they're getting, because I was afraid if I went anywhere, I would get stuck out there and then this would be comatose. That is not, that does not happen
It's
in
not a
my
thing.
understanding.
It's not
not
a
a
thing.
thing.
Now,
So you can.
sleep paralysis is a thing. You can
Oh,
come
yes.
back your physical body can become aware before your higher self before your metaphysical self lands. When you do that thing you do when you're falling asleep and you jerk,
Yeah,
okay, that is your physical body waking up and your higher self dropping down real quick because it's, "Oh, shit," like, "I gotta get back," That
yeah.
jerking is the reconnection of that quickly.
I have
So
been
yeah.
doing that a lot. I have been if I sleep on my back, I do it. I would say anytime I sleep on my back, I do it. So I've been trying very hard not to because it still freaks me the F out. I
Mhm.
have had a moment where I had something come into my room. I could see it, but I couldn't move. And I was like, you betcha I did some spiritual work after that. But I find it just intriguing. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, what in the holy mother of goodness sakes was that? And so I kind of have some theories on that. Have you ever had it happen where you're sleeping on your side? Have you ever had it happen?
I do not. I've only astrally traveled, that I can recall once. It was completely by accident, but it was a bizarre experience. It was right after I had cancer. I had thyroid cancer,
Right? Yeah,
and I
yeah.
had and I had to have surgery. And after the surgery, they gave me a lot of very heavy medication, right? And I was sleeping on my couch downstairs, and my memory is I came to standing in my kitchen and I was looking at myself sleeping on the couch. And I clearly remember thinking, what the actual F is that? And it scared me and I snapped
Sure.
back into my body. But when I snapped back into my body, my teeth were vibrating so hard that it was like against my teeth for like a few seconds before it stopped. So that's the only experience I've had with astral travel, and I think it was because of all the medication I was on. I was so out of it, like, mentally.
Are you connecting astral traveling with sleep paralysis?
Well, I think I meant to talk about sleep paralysis and ended up talking about astral
Oh,
traveling.
okay.
I
Because
do
I was
not have I don't experience sleep paralysis.
you
I've
haven't
never, to
done
my
that
knowledge,
either.
experienced it.
Well, you don't want to.
I don't encourage it. I'm not excited about it, not looking forward to it. 0 stars, not one la not
Zero
excited.
stars. No, thumbs down. That's bullshit. That little boy in the back of the car with the meme saying, "This is bullshit." Yes, it is,
Right?
sir. Yes, it is. All right. So we got some more questions here. Have either of you had a have either of you had a spirit that stayed with you until you were able to get the message out? I have had a few, in I would say probably more in my earlier. But as far as staying, I think that really depends on what our awareness is of spirit. So I can vibrate right away from them in like that. So to me, that was just, I was still in that learning phase, trying to understand where I did feel like I constantly had that. Um, and sometimes if I get that, and it hasn't really happened a lot recently because I feel like I've really gotten a much better grasp on things. But I used to, if I would get hitchhikers, so to speak, or spirits coming to me, I would just post it on my Facebook page, give as many details as I could. And if you understand this, let me know and we'll connect. But I haven't had to do that, I don't think, for a year or so, a couple of years maybe.
We just got another flare, just FYI. Um,
Oh, is that what you're?
that's what I was looking at. We just got another flare. My thing went off. So yeah. Um, so for me, I my mediumship is not strong. I don't dabble. I don't do a lot with mediumship. It comes very sporadically and out of my control. I have had energy stick with me. I've done sessions with clients before where they've been working on some very heavy stuff.
Mhm,
And part of my job as an alchemist is to help lessen the load of that.
mhm.
And sometimes that energy is what I tend to call sticky, and it's
Yeah,
hard to get off of me. And what that feels like for me is I just feel out of sorts. I don't feel right. I
sure,
feel off, and
sure.
I can't usually explain it. I'll be more reactive than I am. I'm a very reserved, quiet person. So if I'm outside of that, I know something's hanging
Yeah,
on. I've never had the impression it was malicious or purposeful. I think it's
yeah.
more me than anything else.
Yeah.
And if that does happen, all I simply do is I go into my meditation. I do my best to reset my energy. Sometimes I'll take a shower because water is a conductor.
Yes, it
So I'll
is.
get in the shower, I'll turn on some high vibrational music, and I'll just move the energy, and it'll, but I've never had
Yeah.
anything that was dangerous, detrimental, or anything like that.
Oh, yeah, very good. I think in my time doing this work, I think there's only been a time or two where I felt like something wasn't safe. Um, I usually feel that more with people than I do with dead people.
Right? Me too. Me too. I'm a hermit. Like I left my house today and I realized it was the first time I've left my house since last Saturday.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't know that that's a bad idea to stay home just because the last few times we've gone out, I just, oh my heavens, humans are like having a really
It's hard
difficult
to
time
human.
right now. It's
It's hard
hard
to
to
human.
human.
That's why I started crochet.
That's awesome.
I'm just gonna sit here on my couch and I'm gonna crochet.
Um,
Everybody's getting crocheted stuff for Christmas.
my grandma used to crochet. She was so
It
great
is
at it.
so peaceful. It is such a zen activity. Oh my gosh, I could crochet for hours. Hours. I turn on an audio book or a podcast and I'm good. I
Oh,
just sit
that,
there and crochet.
yeah, just kind of peace out, peace out, peace out, bitches.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm reading some of these comments. Is asking if we have anything from her dad. I don't right now, but if I do, I will absolutely share that. She was wondering if we hear anything. And then, hi, Vanessa. And then Tina is asking if about her son. It's been 5 years. I'm still strong. Oh, honey. Boy, I get a lot of pain in my neck with that, a lot of pressure on the back of my neck. Huh. Um, I would say for both Amber and for Tina, and for anybody who's really struggling with a lot of um, trauma or deep grief after losing a loved one. And I know in Tina's case, losing her son, and then, of course, losing your. I just read that, found his body by a dumpster. Oh, Lord. Yeah, it almost feels like I'm walking into a wall when I go in that direction for Amber and for Tina. So I'm not going to try to go any further. And if they want to come in, they are welcome to. But I'm not going to dig into that for you guys. But like I said, if they want to come to me, I will absolutely share anything that comes up. It just feels like a lot of chasing, and I don't know what that is. And I feel like if you guys are really deep in grief, this is a really perfect time for you to sit with that grief and give yourself an opportunity to process it and to feel it. If you know your grief is so deep that you can't even look at a tiny piece of it, that's when I would highly recommend going to maybe EMDR or emotional freedom techniques, or find somebody that you can work with, because I think it's always powerful and it's important to do the work so that you can move through. When we lose somebody, we're not meant to grieve for the rest of their lives. It's always going to be there to some degree. So I don't want to say you can't grieve, because I still grieve my son and he's been gone 15 years this year. But I know that if I'm still having that deep grief, deep, can't do anything, having a hard time humaning, then I know that there's work that has to take place. I have to do that. It doesn't do them, it doesn't make their existence any worse or any better, and it surely doesn't do anything great for you to get stuck in that pain. And I hope I'm making sense, but I can't stress enough how important it is to look at it so that you can move through it. And I hope that makes sense. Okay. I don't know if they've responded, but if they do, let me know if you see it. Okay. Sierra says she's an empath
Mhm.
and eyes connect with. I'm an empath and eyes connect with me, but I haven't grown that energy. I can feel it, but like y'all were talking earlier, I pushed it back and not expanded. eyes connect with you, like you look at people and their eyes are like, I mean, help me with that. Okay. And then we'll go, Randy, have a question. My daughter is giving birth, having her daughter tomorrow night. She lost her other daughter at 2 months pregnant. I know she was a girl. She came to me wondering if this little one is coming tomorrow, is her first. Oh, you're wondering if they can come back. If that first child is choosing to reincarnate as the second child, that can happen. I have actually seen that.
I do
Um,
too.
isn't that interesting how the soul's like, well, maybe I wasn't quite ready, or maybe mama wasn't
Or there
ready.
was
So,
something wrong with that physical body.
yep, so they chose another time. Um, but if they chose another time, it would still, um, I feel like the soul contract would still be the same.
Oh, sure.
Like, I still need to have this experience and this journey. So the time that she would be born would have to have some sort of a connection to the last time. And I don't know if I can say that, how to say that correctly. Like, if my soul decided I was going to be a Scorpio, which I am, and I needed to be born at this time, I needed this name to create that energy, because I honestly feel, and that, hear my phone ding right when I said that. I'm just saying, hasn't done it all night. So all of that energy would still need to come in so that it could recreate a very similar energy. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense.
It makes sense to me.
Do you feel like for this one that that is the same child? I'm not really getting a sense of if it is or not.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I think I mean, the way it feels to me is, like, my instinct was like, "Yeah, of course it is." Like, I
Oh, sure,
and
sure.
then I was like, "Wait." But yeah, I mean, to me so I had this happen with, a family member of mine where they were trying for children for, like, 10 years, and she finally got pregnant and ended up having a miscarriage, and then years later, they adopted a little boy, and the day they went to pick him up, before I ever saw him or anything, I had a dream, and in the dream, I met him, and he told me I had to find another way. I couldn't come that way. I had to find another way. And that to me, like I just got full body chills. That
Yeah.
experience to me makes me believe
Yeah, I love
that
that.
if there's something wrong, if the situation changes, if the physical body, if the mom's body has a problem, if the baby's body has a problem, I mean, we all, I think there's a million reasons for things that happen that we don't understand. But I think I'm a big believer that your children will find their way to you.
Yeah. Yes.
And sometimes it takes more than one try, but they'll find their way there.
Yep. That's awesome. So, Randy, congratulations to you on the new baby, and congratulations to
Yes,
your daughter.
congratulations. That's always joyful.
Okay. And Amber is saying they found his body by a dumpster. She didn't. Okay. Still, my heart goes out to you. Oh my goodness sakes. Okay. Amanda, is there anything from my grandpa? Yeah, I wasn't really prepared to do a mediumship tonight, but if anybody comes in while I'm sitting here, I'll happily share that. What is the best way to channel your higher self?
That's such a hard question. Uh, you know, so I'll tell you the truth, Amanda. I think we're channeling our higher selves all the time. I think the problem is not the channel, it's the belief in the channel.
Yes. Oh, I agree with that.
I think that that little nudge you got that said, "That's a bad idea," and you did it anyway, that's your higher self channeling. I think we
Yes.
have a definition and an expectation of what we think channeling looks like because popular culture portrays it to us a certain way, but
Yep.
this is channeling. So,
Yes.
for me, the best way for me to work with my channeling is simply to allow it to happen and not to slow it down with my doubts. The more I doubt, the harder it is for me to allow the flow to happen. If I just
Yes.
go in with the attitude, like, I'm just going to say what comes up and it is what it is,
Yep.
like I'm
Yep.
not here to explain or defend. I'm here to
You
tell the
just get
truth.
out of the way. Yep.
And that's all it is to it.
Yep. And that's mediumship right there. You just get out of the way, and what comes through comes through. I've kind of gotten over this. Um, like when I get stuff, I just trust it, and I don't question it so much anymore. I still have some times, of course, where I'm like, But 99% of the time, I'm just like, it came out of my mouth. I believe them more than you. I'm so sorry. Write it down.
Yeah. I'll tell you something. I've gotten tremendously better at trusting myself. I'd say I'm like 90%. The hardest thing for me is when I'm working with a client and I can see their face and I
Yeah.
call it dead face, right? Where they're just flat.
Yeah.
Everything
Yes.
I say is just,
Yeah.
and I don't know if they're plotting to murder me or if they want to send me a big fat check. I can't tell from the look on their face. That's when I get in my head. That. And
Yeah.
again, I recognize that that's me putting my own fears and projecting it onto them, and I know it in my head,
Yeah.
and I still do it,
Yes.
I
Yes.
still do it. So,
I
even those of us that practice this, we still do it. So, you know
I have had a few clients who are I don't necessarily know if they're numb, but they have felt kind of numb where I'm just like, I don't know if I can reach you because I mean, just like,
Yeah. I had one client that I had to turn away from a session because I was like, "I quite literally cannot feel anything from you."
yeah,
And
I
she was really angry, and I was like, "I can only tell you the truth. I'm not going to lie or make something up to placate your need for me to give you an answer. I
yeah,
am not going to coddle you. I'm
no,
gonna tell you the truth. This is what I'm getting. You're so closed off. When you came into this session, I can get 0 from you.
yeah.
So, you
And I
know,
think it's important and powerful for people to know that they bring something to the table. It is
it
a
is
three piece of communication. It's not just the
it
psychic and
is a 33% flow. It is 33% me, you, and 33% the higher self. That is how I look at it. It is a three-way
yeah.
tie, and if you are not holding up your end, I can't do it for you.
Yeah, no, we all have a part in that, and I think that's so important, and I think it's important that everybody knows that. I was watching, I had a reel pop up on my Facebook, and this medium was saying, um, how you know if a medium is fake, and then they say if they tell you they can't read you, and I was like, "Oh, girl, how
Right?
many readings have you done?"
Right. I had someone say, "Well, I know you're not real because the way you shuffle your cards." And I was like, "Okay.
What does that
I love
mean?
that for you." Yeah, whatever. You know, it don't bother me none.
No.
I'm so glad that you know the best way.
You are
Good for
amazing,
you.
and it's funny because like, I just shuffle. I don't do anything fancy. I literally just wait for those things to just pop out, and
Right,
when
and
they
that's
pop
how
out
I do it, right? So if I'm doing live readings, that's how I do it because that's the most efficient way for me to do that. If I'm
yes.
talking to you face to face, I do it differently because I have interaction with you.
Oh,
And the person that was judging me was like, "Well, I was trained classically in tarot, and I know that if you don't lay out the exact spread, then you are not channeling the energy of tarot." And I was like,
that's not
"I love
true.
that for you. Next." Like, whatever.
I know, and we all have to come through this place of ego. That's a lot of ego. Um, to have somebody throw at you, you got to do it this way. I think that it's important for people to know you don't have to be classically trained. You can pick it up, and you need to
No.
start trusting yourself.
Good Lord, no.
Trust.
Everything is different. Do you know how
Yes.
boring this world would be if we
Oh
were
Lord.
all the same?
Oh
How stupid is that?
yeah.
Be original. If your guides speak to you through tickling your left toe, great. That's wonderful. Who cares? Everybody's different, you
Yes.
know?
And we need to be. We're supposed to be. And if you want to
It's like a
shuffle,
mosaic.
yes, it
If
is.
you had a beautiful stained glass window, none of the pieces look the same. I can
Correct.
look out the boring plane of glass of my bedroom. It's not nearly as beautiful as looking out of the stained glass made of all the different pieces.
Yeah. And that's what we need is all the different pieces. I'm just reading through some of these again. A lot of messages. I'm gonna have to just open up one of these nights, you guys, and do mediumship. Density of consciousness. Any thoughts or words, wisdom as shadows come to light.
Oh, I have so much to say about that one.
Do you
That's
want
in
to?
my wheelhouse. That's my nerd train.
You're going to nerd out. I'll
I'm
tell
gonna
you what,
nerd out
you
my
nerd
train.
out, and I'll start giving people numbers while you nerd out.
All right.
Fair.
So when we think of density of consciousness, let's start with explaining 3D, 4D, 5D. All right.
Okay.
3D is physical manifestation, and things, in order for things to appear solid, they must have a frequency that is slow enough to be solid, right? So the table is a slow vibration. We are physical. We are slow vibration, right? Then you move into 4D. This is the land of possibility. This is your mind, right? This is where your past and future live. Things are moving faster here vibrationally. In the 4D in your mind, you can go to the future. You can time travel. You can go in the past. You can time travel, right? This is where your ideas come from. 5D is where all possibility and probability exist, and you are walking through it like a soup. Like, imagine Wi-Fi. You're walking through this possibility everywhere. So let's say you bump into this little kernel of possibility in the ether as an idea. This idea strikes you. You go, hey, I want to open a yogurt shop. This didn't just happen like magic. You happened upon this frequency in the 5D around you and picked up on it like a radio tower. So now you have to compress that from 5D to 4D. So you bring it down into your brain and you start to think about the future. What do I need to make this happen? You start making a plan. You start thinking about this and processing this. Through the processing of this information, you start to compress it down into 3D, and you start taking actionable steps to manifest into the 3D what you picked up on in the 5D. But to get from the 5D to the 3D, it has to compress its vibration, slow down into something slow enough that will manifest here in the physical environment. With the shadow aspect, every manifestation you think you want casts a shadow, and that shadow is created of all the reasons why you tell yourself it's impossible to reach that. So the closer you get to that manifestation, the more intense the shadow aspects around it become. You start to be triggered over and over and over again, and you get annoyed. Why am I so annoyed about this yogurt shop? All these things are coming up. I can't get the financing. I'm worried I can't keep the place. I'm worried I can't do this. I'm worried I can't do that. Because the closer you get to the frequency of the owner of a yogurt shop, the less in resonance all those doubts are. And you cannot line up frequency rise as long as you're holding on to the stuff that has kept you here. So
Hmm.
you're going to be triggered and triggered and triggered. And then one day you'll get triggered and you'll have no reaction. And there you go. You've just aligned yourself with the vibrational version of you that already had the yogurt shop. But you have to let go of the shadow that it casts that keeps you
Okay.
where you are.
I had to laugh at her fit because that's what was happening to my brain too. I was like, oh, I'm
So for anyone
going
in
to watch.
here who wants to know what a channel looks like, that's what a channel looks like for me. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, here it comes." Because I can feel it. I can feel the energy. It's like a drain comes in and it pops open. I'm like, "Here it is." And it just flows out of me.
And it
If
flows
you asked me
quick.
to repeat what I just said, couldn't do it. Could not
Yeah.
repeat that.
Yeah. That's how you know
That's how
when
you
you
know.
are, I mean, it's amazing. It's just like, it just, I don't even know where that came from. Well, spirit. It'd be interesting to see when this plays, when, if we watch this back, if anything, if there's any orbs with you.
That would be fun.
Yeah. I will go back through this like I did last week, or I don't know when we did it last, but the last time we did this, and add if there's any things
Oh
that come up,
yeah.
I'll add some little fun stuff to it. So, oh, look,
That was
is there
great.
any orbs?
So I have to say too, when I looked at Ryan's name,
Yeah.
me and my nerddom, I read Ryan Skywalker.
What is, well, what's,
It's Starkweather, but Skywalker is
which,
from Star Wars.
yeah.
And I saw Ryan Skywalker and I thought, oh, cool. But then I realized that's wrong.
You know what's really funny is if you ever looked at a word, obviously you just did with that. So I'm going to look up what the meaning of Skywalker is to see if there's spiritual
Luke,
symbolism
I am
beyond
your
pop
father.
culture, layered metaphysical interpretation. Skywalker represents the journey towards elevated awareness and spiritual awakening. cosmic connection symbolizes a soul that walks between realms, earth and sky, matter and spirit.
Maybe I was looking through my higher self's eyes when I saw that. I don't
I'm
know. That
telling
was
you,
just really
sometimes I
interesting.
read words and I'll be reading and I'll read something like it's telling on the person. Like I
Yeah.
might know, I might hear or
Hi,
read
Rochelle.
cheater or all kinds of. I'm like, oh, I didn't shouldn't have read that. I'm so sorry.
Right. Hi, Lindsay. Hi, Rochelle. Hi, Loretta. Stacy, Shannon, everybody. All my friends are here.
All the
I bring all
friends.
my friends to the yard. My psychic gifts bring all my friends to the yard.
I have that stuck in my head. Ryan says, "I'd love." Did you see Ryan's?
No, I didn't. What did he say?
Um,
Oh, well, friend, let me tell you. If you go to my Patreon channel, so my ultimate goal is to build a online metaphysical university that offers tracks of study like a regular university. I am already building the curriculum for my version for my degree, which would be energetic alignment, right? So I would
love
teach
that.
you all about quantum mechanics, energetic alignment, all the stuff. All the stuff that I'm teaching that I want to teach is already out on my Patreon. So if you go to my Patreon, I have more information than you could read in 6 months ready for you.
Do you have? You don't have a link for Patreon, do you?
No, but they can find me. It's just Consciously Erin. If you just go to
Yep.
Patreon and search, I have the same name on every single platforms just to keep it simple
Smart.
for me,
I
because
did
I
not
forget.
do that. I did not do that.
I went and registered on everything I could think of as soon as I thought of my name because I was like, I don't want anybody to take that.
Yeah, smart girl. Um, I want to answer this one. Why do I get Bible verses for one friend asking for advice, but not for other people? It is because that friend probably has some sort of a connection to biblical. Her guides might have something to do with, I was trying to think like St. Francis or Archangel Michael. So you are channeling what's in her energy, and that
Mm.
is incredibly common. When I do my channelings, depending on who is sitting in on it, tells me what information and who I'm going to be connecting with. And I've done it to where I've been like, I've never channeled that before. Why is that coming in? And then one of the people in the group would be like, well, that is my guide, or that is somebody that I've connected with a lot. I'm like, oh shit, that's cool. So you're picking up what they're putting down.
Yeah, it's just for me, the answer to that question is you got to think of the Bible more like a language than a Bible, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't speak to someone who only speaks French in Spanish. So if she has a connection to the Bible, perhaps the lesson she needs to hear is the only way she's going to hear it is through the language of the Bible. If you tried to explain it to her in scientific notation, she's not going to listen, right? So you have to speak the language of the person. You have to meet them where they are. So that's part of that. So long story short, I agree.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
concur.
She concurs. Okay. This is good. All right. I was I need somebody to pick a number between 1 and 26. Anybody can do it. The first number I see pop up, because I'm going to do a little giveaway, because I told everybody today that anyone who um, shared my post, commented, so just one number between 1 and 26. The first one I see is 19.
Amber 14 was the number in my mind.
Oh, was it? Oh, that's funny. Okay. Yep. So Sierra was the first one I see. Is that for you too? Is that the first one you
Oh, I
see?
wasn't even looking. I
Oh,
I was just
oh,
being like I was in my own world. Sorry.
oh,
I
fair,
was
fair.
like I didn't think you were talking to me, so I'm like,
Okay, so June Russell is the winner. Okay, so I'll tag her.
I have this cool little app that I use when I'm giving stuff away. It is I'm trying to find it so I can tell you what it's called. And now I'm not going to be able to. Oh, it's called Spin the Wheel. So you just So here's one. I was giving stuff away. So you just enter everybody's name into it and then you hit spin and it spins it around and it like I know it's hard to see, but it'll spin it
Oh, that's
around and it
fun.
stops. And it's
What
free.
is
It's a free app.
what is it called?
It's called Spin the Wheel.
Spin the wheel.
Mhm.
How you know I have gone
Just
so deep as to literally screenshot, print everybody, cut,
right.
cut,
Right.
fold.
And I don't want to forget anybody and I want to keep it fair. That was the easiest way to do that. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just spinning the wheel.
interesting. Okay. Well, I took a screenshot of all of the names and everybody, so that was my 19th person on that list. Okay.
Arva says she uses Wheel of Names. That's awesome.
Oh, fun.
Oh, a couple people. Oh no,
Oh,
just one person.
fun.
It just moved.
Just okay. Well, I will tag her on the post too so she knows. Okay. All right. Well, my dear, how are you feeling?
It's been a great time. I've really enjoyed it, and we should do it again.
I say that too. That's a great. I have some mashed
Let's set
potatoes
our
calling
next
for me.
date. You want to do it here live with everybody?
Oh,
Do you
we
have your
could do that.
calendar?
I
They can
sure
get a little
do.
sneak. They get a little tea before anybody else. Oh
A
my
little
gosh, you're
sneak peek.
so oh my god, you're sitting with the cool kids.
Oh, am I a cool kid? Where's the? I want to be a cool
I
kid.
am a one-man band, so yeah.
I I always wanted to be a cool kid growing up, and then I realized, yeah, I just want to be me.
Everybody's perspective is so different. I
Isn't
I
that
ran
right?
into a girl, her name was Jackie, and I went to middle school with her. And in middle school, she was like the one, like she was the
Oh,
most popular girl. And to be fair,
oh,
she was extremely kind and very nice. And I was friends with her, but I wasn't popular. I ran into her, I don't know, 5 years ago or so.
oh,
Mm-mm.
oh.
She,
Some shifts and changes happened.
I think that she didn't know how to cope with not being popular anymore when she went away to college. She went
Um,
from being a big fish in a little pond to being a little teeny tiny fish in a big giant ocean. And I think that that had detrimental effects on her
sure,
and
sure.
her self-esteem. And she was not the same person when I met her. She was not nearly as confident as she used to be. And it was interesting because when I knew her, it wasn't like she was confident, like full of herself, but she
Yeah.
was confident in herself. And now when I talked to her, when I was talking to her, she seemed to have doubt about everything she said. And I could literally feel it like rolling off of her.
Oh,
And I was like, gosh, what changed, But I think that's what it
life,
was.
life can kick you right in the bottom, can't it?
It
Oh,
sure can.
all right. We're looking into November.
We are.
Okay. What do you think in the second week?
Yeah, that works.
Do you like? Is there a certain day?
No, not really. Would
So
whenever. I mean, I know my boss.
I
She's pretty
know,
flexible.
right? I have a really cool boss.
My boss is kind of a bitch, but
She's
she's very
weird.
flexible.
Yours is a bitch, mine's weird. Oh shit. Okay. So I have the 12th, November 12th,
All right, that's a date.
5 p.m. Okay. Let me put it in my calendar because I said it, but now I have to do it. Okay.
I'm telling you, I made a video earlier today because I thought I want to be really transparent with people because I think people have a misconception about those of us who tend to be more public with our spirituality,
Yep.
and you think we have it all together.
My
No,
people know I don't. I'm good
no.
with their things.
So I made a video today and I was just very honest. And I said, the one thing, I saw someone say you should always admit the thing you're worst at so that you can face your fears head on. And the thing I am worst at is follow up. I have so many people who text me or email me or call me, and I don't call them back. And it's not because I don't want to.
Yeah,
It's
I get
not.
it.
It's because I am in my own bubble and I am extremely comfortable in this bubble. So for me to leave that is going to require an act of God. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that I mean, I have friends that will text me and I'm like, I gotta text them back. And then 3 days later, I'm like, oh crap. And I go and I
Yeah.
text them back and they'll be like, yeah, I got it. Thanks. It's like,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
And it's
Thanks, you
never
jerk.
on purpose. It's never, ever, ever on purpose. But I am so disconnected from society at large for my own mental health that
Yeah.
I do not follow up. I mean, I mean, we've exchanged
Yeah.
emails. You'll send
Yeah.
me an email and ask me a question. We'll come on live and I'm like, here's the answer to your question you asked 3 weeks ago. Like I don't follow up. I just forget. And it's never on purpose, but it's a very
Yeah.
human trait that I have that I
Yes.
wrestle with. And I
And
think
that
it's important
doesn't
to
offend
remember we're
me.
all human.
It doesn't offend me at all because I do the same thing and I don't do it purposefully or intentionally. Part of my thing though is after a day of doing readings and trying to create and do all the things, by the time night gets here, my brain is fucking fried and I'm just like
Yeah.
sitting in front of the TV with like
Right.
I can't.
Yeah, and
Nope.
that's another
No
thing is it
thoughts.
something that I don't think people realize is in order I mean, for me at least, in order for me to channel, I have to raise my frequency, and
Yes.
to maintain that level is
Yes.
physically draining for me. When I do
Yes.
my lives in the morning, I'm live for 2 hours, 2 hours only in the morning. It takes me all afternoon to recuperate
Oh, right.
from that because I am go, 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 and pulling, 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 pulling. When that turns off, my whole body
Yeah.
like, I physically relax. I like,
Yeah.
it down in the chair. I have to go eat something immediately or I
Yeah.
get sick, and then I
Yeah.
need to sit and plant my feet on my grounding mat and do nothing for, like, 30
Yeah.
minutes, and
Yep.
then I start to feel like I'm coming back, so it's not like this is something that, it's a wonderful blessing, and it's a joy, and I'm so glad that I have it, but it is work. It is
It is
physically draining, you know?
100%. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot. It takes a lot. So, I love that you talked about the grounding mat because how powerful is that for you to know? I've got to shut people out right now, and I just need to do me. This is my time. I've got to refurbish.
Yes, and
Yep.
unfortunately, I learned that the hard way, which is
Yeah.
how most of us learn things, right? Because 'Cause we're just never
Yes.
gonna listen. I
Yeah.
learned the hard way. I got to a point where I physically was breaking down because I was not allowing the time I needed to replenish energetically,
Yes.
and it really was a very startling realization that energy is it's real,
It's
and
it's huge. And
you
one
cannot
thing,
get around it.
no, I frickin' put on like 50 pounds when I first started this work, and have struggled yo-yo to try to get it back off because I was trying to replace that energy with food.
Right,
How'd that work for
right,
me? Not so fucking
right.
great.
That's also something common. I mean, we could talk all night, but that's also
I know,
something
right?
common that I've seen with other people that they put weight on because
Yes.
there's such a hunger when you get off. Like my
Dude.
body is so depleted that the first like easiest thing for me to do is reach for something to eat because
Yeah.
that feels like it replenishes me. And I also gained weight when I started doing this for the same similar reason because I
Yeah.
was so like I need something, I need something. That's the quickest something. The
Yep.
grounding mat has absolutely been life changing. I sleep on a grounding sheet now. I have a grounding mat. Like it's everywhere in my house.
Oh, we love that's I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
look into
I
a
just went
grounding
to
sheet.
Amazon. I got Amazon's recommendation. It goes under your fitted sheet. My husband doesn't know it's there, but yet he manages to sleep better. He
I do.
asked me, he's like, after I put that sheet on there, about 2 weeks later, he's like, did you get me a new pillow? And I was like, what? No. And he goes, oh, did we get a new fan? Like, did you change something in the room? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well,
No.
I'm not trying to jinx it, but I'm sleeping better. And I'm just wondering what changed so I can keep sleeping better. And I was like, fun.
I
I
don't
know what
know.
changed.
That's freaking. I used to like when I would go to work after my son, shortly after he passed, and my husband would be home. I would take lavender oil and put it on the bottom of his feet, and just to kind of give him a better day because he was really having a hard time. And I would just pretend like I was tickling him. And it wasn't until years later I told him, I was soaking you in lavender so you'd be in a better mood.
Yeah. Yeah. My husband, I'm always like, he's always like catching me because my husband is not, The thing about my husband, he's a wonderful man and he absolutely adores me. He is my biggest fan, but he is not into this,
Yeah.
right? He just
No,
doesn't
no,
get it. He's a
100%.
very
Yeah.
logical. And every once in a while, something will happen and he'll come around the corner and he'll be like, "Did you voodoo me?" And I'm like, "No, I swear." He's like, "It sure does feel like you voodooed me." And I'm like, "No, like I don't even practice voodoo. That's a religion." He's like, "I'm not being specific. I'm just asking." I'm like, "Okay.
Did
You
you?
can't ask a nerd about stuff like that."
Shit, that's funny. Okay. I'm not even telling my husband that's an option. People be like, "You did, you did."
I
Uh,
told him, I actually said, I go, "Oh, no, if I did, you'd know." It wouldn't be a question.
I've wanted to say that to some people, but I don't. All right. So we're going to close out here. You hang around for a sec. So thank you guys so much for hanging in. And we'll see you guys again on November 12th from 5 to 7. Erin and I are both on Patreon, Consciously Erin Patreon,
Yep.
and I'm Psychic Medium Melissa Henyon on Patreon.
And you can probably get to either one of our pages from the other page because we both
Yes,
recommend
because
each
I've,
other. So
yep,
there's areas on those pages where you can see that. So
yes,
we're
awesome.
connected.
Okay, all right, my dear. So we'll close here. You guys take care.